Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Chris. I am also known as Big Ocean Sound on Spotify. Little plug. I am telling a very candid story today, and that is that my number one song on Spotify was removed by Spotify due to artificial streaming. And this is not a big complaint video. This is just more of a PSA for other musicians out there to let you know this stuff is rampant now more than ever, and that there's some things that we can do to stand up against these companies that I'm going to talk about in a bit, even to let Spotify know that this stuff exists. But I'm going to share my screen real quick to let you know what happened on my end. So one day I just get this in my email inbox. It is from DistroKid, which I use to distribute my music. And it says Spotify has detected that the majority of streams on some of your tracks were artificially streamed. As a result, Spotify has removed the release containing those tracks from their streaming service. Um, for me, this was a complete surprise. And without warning, I got this message, put tons and tons of hours into the song, a lot of collaboration. I even put my own organic advertising efforts, put it out on social media, and for me, this was just like a complete surprise because I had nothing to do with this. Turns out you could. Hadn't been checking my stats in like a long time, but when I reflected back on the past month, it was pretty obvious that this massive spike right here was due to artificial streaming. So you can see that a lot of this is not real. 139 listeners in this 1 month period and 4826 streams. I've never seen this before. You don't get 34 streams per listener out of nowhere. So, um, come to realize that there is a bot company called waiver.ai, and there are so many of these out there, but that's a big one after doing some digging and some research that will randomly put artists' songs on their platform, get a bunch of these bot streams for whatever reason, and it will screw over your stats and you will get removed from Spotify as a general rule. I have to take a dig at Spotify here too, because they were not very helpful. In fact, I reached out to them to let them know that this was an issue. They don't care at all. They have way more issues than small musicians like us, because this has not been a big thing that I think that has been bothering them. So my call to action for you as a musician is let Spotify know the moment you are botted or the moment you were added to one of these artificial playlists, send them a message with the exact URL of that and let them know that you're not going to stand for anything like this. You're not going to, that it's not your fault because this happened to me completely without my knowledge. I'm not a big artist at all, so I think that's what makes this hurt even more is that the little streams that I do get are ones that I worked very hard for, and then Spotify will just erase everything without you knowing it, with no warning, I should say. You can see, so this is a quick stats list. The actual playlist was removed after a certain point. You can see that the thumbnail is removed. You can't find this playlist anymore. I do know that it was waiver.ai that added me to their playlist. You can tell because they are apparently based in Finland. And let me pull up this string here. Top countries for this song was Finland with this many streams from just a few short accounts. So this is what I would look out for. Number one, if you see that anything looks fishy in regards to bot streams or streaming, do report that immediately. The two things you can look out for are if your stream count is really high, coming from very few listeners, or an example of a playlist adding one of your songs to their playlist, and then once they remove, you'll lose everything because the majority of those are bot streams from things like this. Some of these playlists are super fishy too because you can tell I've been added before and they're not legit, because why would my song ever be put right before Britney Spears' Womanizer, and then right before that, it's a random jazz song. These playlists don't make any sense. And if it looks fishy, it is fishy and you should report it. So, Spotify, shame on you for not standing up for musicians here. And their customer support was just awful. They didn't care. They just blew me off and said, I'm ending this chat right now. So shame on you. And musicians, let's stand up whenever we see bot traffic like this. Stand up to these companies out there that are putting out bot traffic and send those complaints to Spotify as many times as you possibly can. If you see a fake playlist, send it to Spotify. Let's make sure that our voices are represented here, because we are the ones at the end of the day who are making the platform move. So that's all. And I hope that this was useful to someone.